The stepson, who's now 32, says from the time he was 12, he was kept in an 8 by 9 foot room.
Yeah, and it wasn't until he took matters into his own hands that he was found. Fox 8's Teresa Priolo is in the newsroom with these disturbing details, to say the least, Teresa.
Yeah, incredibly disturbing. Steve and Natasha, this is a story that came to light because of a 911 call for a house on fire. What authorities say they found was a fire set by a man who was held captive inside of his home for 2 decades. We want to warn you, the story and the details of it are difficult to hear. The man says he intentionally set that fire because he wanted his freedom. He's 32 years old. He weighs just 68 pounds. Waterbury, Connecticut police say he was so emaciated that his body resembled that of a patient with advanced cancer. The man was trapped inside of his home, he says, drinking from the toilet to stay hydrated. He was held inside of a room that had multiple locks on the outside of the door. He says his stepmother, 56-year-old Kimberly Sullivan, subjected him to prolonged abuse, starvation, severe neglect, and inhumane treatment. She's charged with assault, kidnapping, unlawful restraint, cruelty to persons, and reckless endangerment.
There's an adult that was 5'9" and 68 pounds. There's some apparent orthopedic issues. The room was very small. Honestly, when I read about it and talk to the investigators and overlook the interviews, it was worse than the conditions of a jail cell.
Yeah, let that sink in. The victim claims his stepmother and another person found him after he lit that fire, and they tried to wash his face to clean him up before firefighters arrived. They also said they tried to remove a bolt lock from the door frame. So the last time this man really interacted with the outside world was when he was in grade school, but he stopped going to school in 4th grade when family services started asking questions. The last time police were in this home was last April. The stepmother's attorney says these charges are outlandish.
What we have right now are allegations. And yes, sometimes allegations look bad, but that's why we have a process. And that's why we have a defense. And we intend to mount one in this case. And we intend to push back on all the allegations that have been made against her.
All right, so if you're like me and you're wondering, how did this go on for 2 decades without anybody noticing? Some neighbors say they had no idea that the man was even in the house. But the man's former school principal says, quote, "We knew it, we reported it, and not a thing was done." Steve, back to you.
Wow, lots to still figure out how that all took place for so long, allegedly. All right, Teresa, thanks so much.